There's a lot of awareness and talk about this is your value, this is my value, know your value. And the truth is, there's two types of value. There's the value of your own self-worth and how you see yourself. And then there's the value we communicate to said person or a said market. And what can happen is we can say this is our value and recognize the value we have in ourselves, but then mistake someone for not seeing our value when actually we didn't effectively communicate our value to them. To put it in a really simple way, it's like having the best, most efficient electric car in the world, but then having the worst marketing. The marketing is trying to sell it as a performance petrol car that has the best roaring sound when you turn on the ignition. When, newsflash, if you didn't know, an electric car is the quietest thing on the road. So people don't buy. Is it because the car itself doesn't actually provide some great value? No, it's because the marketing is terrible. Equally, you can have a terrible product that people actually do buy because the marketing is sensational. But then that never lasts because the product has to be good for people to actually keep it. The most successful businessmen and businesswomen understand that it's not just enough for the product to be great. The marketing has to be top standard in order for it to just go through the roof in sales. You may be an amazing product, but maybe your marketing is a little bit off, which then looks like guys not choosing to commit or have a level of respect for you because they don't see your quote unquote value. Well, all of that changes right now. We're going to go through 4 major things that make a guy see, respect, and more importantly, take seriously your value. The first thing is keeping to your word. Now, this sounds easy to do, but we live in a culture that really prioritizes feelings over what may be right. The notion is, if it feels right, then it is right. And that's not always true. Doing something just because it feels good in the moment is how people get pregnant, how people get cheated on, and is how people avoid accountability. And so because of this, being someone who does keep to their word makes you rarer than you think. If we say we're going to do something, we should do it. If we say we're not going to do something, we shouldn't. So, for example, if you say that you're someone who's not physically intimate early on, which you don't need to say because your actions will naturally reflect that, then we can't expect someone to have a level of respect for us when we are physical and sexual early on. And I get it's fun to say, oh, I don't usually do this. And, to try and show that this is the exception. And it may really be the exception. But for a man, it's like, well, your actions show me something different. So it doesn't matter what you say you usually do. What matters is how we choose to handle ourselves right there and then. Words don't really mean anything when the actions are not in alignment and consistent. Like if someone says to you, hey, if you do this thing, I'm going to beat you up. And then you do that thing, but then they don't do anything. How can you have a level of respect for them? Because all they've shown you is that their word means nothing and you can't trust them to follow through. Because let's be honest, if they can't follow through for themselves, there's no way they're going to follow through for you. And this isn't just about the sex. This applies to anything. If you say you're going to be somewhere, if you say you're going to do something, be a woman who shows to keep her word, and a man will have a level of respect for you because he knows he can trust you. Next thing on the list is dressing sexy but classy. Women of value know how to have sex appeal without having to show everything, shall we say. One thing I always say with women that I work with is when it comes to dressing to impress with a man, there are 3 parts of a woman's body that stereotypically will draw a man in: boobs, bum, and legs. Now, when you go out dressing with appeal, but still maintaining class, being sexy but classy, you want to highlight maximum 1 to 2 of these things. God forbid all 3. These are things that are going to make a man look your way. It's going to make him notice you when you walk in the room. These are things that are going to make a man really take all of you in. Now, of course, you can do things with your hair, have your makeup on point. All of that accentuates what you have, which is great. But when it comes to the sexual curiosity, that's more about being in your body. So let's say you're meeting with a guy and you want to have a level of sex appeal, but you want to maintain the class, right? You want him to notice you in a sexy but classy way. And let's say you've been hitting the gym for the past 6-7 months and now you've got a bit of a booty on you. Well, feel free to wear something tighter in that booty area. Maybe a nice pair of jeans or a pair of black leather trousers that really gives the definition on your legs and your bum, but then have a loose blouse on top. Or the other way around. If you've been blessed being endowed in the chest area, or if you pay for them too, I guess, then wear something hugging on top. Maybe that shows a bit of cleavage, but then a nice fitted skirt on the bottom that is a looser fit. Hey, you know me, I always want to give great value. And so as a thank you for watching this episode, I want to give you the secret sauce that makes a man want to desperately commit to a woman. It's not great sex, and it's not how hot you are. It's the value you bring outside of the bedroom, which is why I'm giving you my guide, the 5 feminine ways to add value to a man's life that makes you irreplaceable to him. Absolutely free. Just click the link below and it's yours. Now back to the video. You don't have to show everything, and I'd never recommend that. But wearing clothes that show off a bit of what you have, but still leaves enough for the imagination is the perfect balance. Next way that makes a guy respect your value is expressing standards for your investment. It's always great for you as a woman when you communicate, these are the standards I value and appreciate in a man. And the standards sometimes we will say are the arbitrary standards, like must be in great shape, must make a certain amount of money, must dress a certain way, etc. And while it's absolutely okay to have these preferences, this isn't what I'm talking about in regards to expressing them to the guy that you're dating. You don't need to express those standards. They're irrelevant if you're already dating him, because he's either those metrics or not, right? And your choice of him already reflects that he meets those preferences to some degree at least. I'm talking about the standards about how you like to give and receive love. You express the standards of how you love a man to treat you, but also how you will show up for him as well. The mistake sometimes a woman can make is only saying the things that she wants from a man without sharing what she would give to him. And this works against her for 2 reasons. Because 1, it comes across as a woman is still hurt from a previous experience, which is why she now only lists the requirements of a man's treatment to her. And 2, it comes across as someone who's only interested in receiving, not giving. And a man looking for a teammate will be looking for a woman who wants to give to their team that they would potentially have. What we want to communicate is, this is what I like and need from you, but this is what you would be getting from me. This is your reward for that. You want him to want to have what you have to offer, because that's what makes him show up for you in the ways that you value. Next thing that makes a man greatly respects the value of a woman is when she is not easily accessible. Now, this is something that every time I ask a guy to describe his most ideal woman, this comes up without fail every single time. And maybe a big part of this is because we live in a day and age of social media, which exacerbates all the attention people are trying to get. Men have always valued and have a different kind of respect for the woman who is not easily accessible. Reason being, and I'm going to give you some real girl game here, a man often will get territorial over a woman that he's taking seriously. And note, I say over a woman he's taking seriously. Men don't get territorial over women that he only sees casually. So if he's showing you a little bit of territorialism, that's a good sign. And so part of the value a man sees in a woman is, how easy is it for other men to enter her world, and not to be crude, but also enter her? What's the risk factor in that? Does she invite that kind of risk, or does she protect against that risk? There's nothing a man respects more than a woman that other men may want but can't access. What this communicates to him is that this is a woman who is selective about who she allows into her circle. She is selective about who she allows to see into her world, who can get information about her world and the people in it. So what does this look like by today's metric? Well, this looks like a woman who isn't out here trying to gain all the followers she can, that her social media is on private. Maybe she doesn't even have social media, which might sound unheard of, but it really makes a difference in a man's eyes. Because when he's dating you, it makes him go, wow, this is a woman who is choosing to be available for me. I'm the only one who has a side to her that no one else does. The way he sees and respects her value is in a completely different realm to the girl posting bum pics for the world to see. And you know what? This makes such a difference to how a guy sees a woman. It garners so much respect from a man that it wouldn't even matter if you slept with him on the first date. I know, and coming from me, That's saying a lot. His respect for you and your value wouldn't be affected by first date sex at all because of how inaccessible he knows you to be. That's when it makes him go, wow, I really have the exclusive with this woman, and thus he values it that much more. Now, I'm not saying you have to be this way, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't say it made a man see value in a woman differently because of how selective she is with how accessible she is.
Well, thanks for tuning in. And if you're ready to take your love life to the next level, then be sure to join the Kit Angels community in the link below. Let's stay connected. See you next time.